big game sport fishing genre has great communications. Satellite for many, the internet for us mere mortals. Tip-offs had been received by email at the Liamdale hut. Visa and MasterCard had been telephoned, credit had been extended, family had been apologised to, and I'd successfully rendezvoused with Buck Hunt at Gatwick Airport, England. We were flying 2,000 miles to do battle with a really big fish, a cunning, powerful hunter from the deep. This was to be the moment when we faced up to a legend, the Atlantic giant blue marlin. Madeira. It's a volcanic island 350 miles off the west coast of Africa, just north of the Canaries. It's 36 miles long and 14 miles wide, so wherever you go, the ocean is never far away. The waters here are vast. They're over a mile deep, and they need to be, as they're home to the Atlantic giant blue marlin, a fish that can exceed 2,000 pounds in weight. Deep sea fishing is a very glamorous sport. It's like the Grand Prix circuit, only on water. You need serious money to run a serious hobby like this, and marlin can cover up to 3,000 miles in a week, which means the sport is literally international. And so are the major players. Men like Stuart Campbell, a multi-millionaire, and once the fishing partner of legendary Hollywood actor Lee Marvin. Jean-Paul Ricard, multi-millionaire, world record holder, and owner of the world's largest and most expensive private fishing vessel. But then there are some tiddlers too, like my mate Buck, who at the last count wasn't a millionaire, and me, keen but worth only about, 65 cents on a good day. Still, here we are, just the two of us on this big ocean, and each hoping to catch the fish of a lifetime. If you can't afford your own ocean-going fishing vessel, you can charter one from the harbour if you book about 2 years in advance, but it's not cheap. It costs around $1,500 a day. But if you choose wisely, you can get the benefit of a really top crew, and the investment is well worth it. At this level of expenditure, you really want results. The design of the boat is unique. The skipper drives from the flybridge, a sort of conning tower on water, giving him an aerial view all around, but particularly over the stern for sighting the fish. Communication between the skipper up top and the crew on the deck is important, especially through fish play, as the positioning of the boat is crucial during any battle. So how do you catch a marlin? Take a pair of 12-0 sized hooks and attach them to an enormous multicoloured lure. Attach the lure to a line with a breaking strain of 80 to 130 pounds, about a mile in length. Wind this very carefully onto a reel that looks like a winch and bolt that onto a rod that looks like a telephone pole. Run the lure in a teasing manner about 30 feet behind the boat and drag it along at about 8 miles an hour. This'll entice marlin up from the depths to play, as they cannot resist a pile of noisy shoaling fish. The battle is fought from the fighting chair. Need the help of an unlikely ingredient, washing up liquid. More of that later. But what of the fish? The giant blue marlin grows to over 5 meters and is one of the highest leapers amongst ocean fish. It's also one of the fastest swimmers, achieving speeds of over 50 miles per hour below and above the surface. It's one of the few successful hunters of the fast-swimming smaller tuna, but concentrates on any shoaling fish. The average weight for a rod-caught specimen marlin is around 400 to 500 pounds, but fish of over 1,000 pounds are caught. In the time-honoured tradition of fishermen the world over, we tossed to see who would be game on, and Buck won. The truth about deep-sea trolling is that once you've baited up and set everything, all you can do is sit, wait, look at the sea. Wait a bit more, and wait a bit more. In fact, there's no end to the amount of time you can spend waiting, just looking at the sea. Then finally we had him. End of day one, $1,500 spent and no sign of a marlin. You can throw that much money at the sea and still not find the fish. Still, there was time left to see some more of Madeira. The best way to see the island is by taxi. The first thing you notice is that the Madeirans like to put plants wherever they can, especially banana plants. They're everywhere. It seems hard to believe, but Madeira was once a fully forested island. A Portuguese explorer discovered the island in the late 13th century, declared it uninhabitable, and promptly set fire to it. The fire raged for 7 years, an early contribution to global warming. Back at the harbour side, we spent the evening trading fishing tales with the resident big boys. They'd caught 2 marlin, didn't seem too impressed by our hammerhead shark. Day 2, we set off at 10 AM looking for the big catch. The weather was perfect, conditions were prime. We just needed a marlin to come along and play ball. "40 minutes later, we were all set, patrolling 6 lures over a volcanic rift in 3,000 feet of water, when a scream from the fly deck meant we had something. A marlin had been raised. The first sight of a marlin is extraordinary, and all hell breaks loose. Buck was hooked up into a monster fish. All other lines are retrieved as fast as possible, and as the marlin tears away, the boat is reversed at speed to stop the marlin stripping away all the line. When the fish had finished its initial 50-mile-an-hour high-speed run, you have contact through the line, and the real battle can begin. One quick squirt of that washing-up liquid under your canvas diaper, and you'll slip along that Perspex seat as smoothly as David Coulthard in a Schumacher slipstream.
Alrighty. Nice and neat, doing good. Pretty decisive bang that one, wasn't it? Huh? Pretty decisive bang that one. Did you see the fish before it hit?
No, I was talking about this other one, what we were going to do with it.
Yeah.
And that one there, and then boom, like
Whoop.
that's how quick it happens, unless your eyes are actually on the jig.
Yeah.
On those quick ones, you never see it.
Yeah.
The pressure is incredible. You're literally being pulled out of the boat. If you get the physics wrong, you're off and away water skiing, but with a marlin in charge, you'd ski straight down into the depths.
Taking Buck's shoulders instead.
At this point, the fish is using its sheer weight to fight back. Buck has to keep his legs locked and shoulders back in order to change his centre of gravity to put pressure on the marlin. Well, that's the theory anyway.
Yes.
You're a prime candidate for getting frogged. Stretch your legs like that.
It's them long legs, isn't it? Them
Take
long
your
legs.
line.
She tensing your cheeks.
Now this is a critical moment. After 50 minutes of hard labour, Buck's ordeal is almost over. In the final moments, the skipper steadies the boat. Once the wireman gets his hand on the leader, the capture is official, but it can still go wrong. All that work, all that effort, such a light hook hold, and an incredibly disappointed angler and crew. The capture still stands, but a fisherman always wants to see his fish.
Okay.
Day 3. The disappointments of the previous session faded away in a vat of that fine rich wine which bears the island's name, and slightly hungover, I was off to see how the big boys play at fishing. Jean-Paul Ricard's French Look 2 cost $7 million, a further $1 million a year to run her. What a toy.
This is a very elaborate, complex and expensive way to go fishing. Yes? Did you start like this or did you build up?
That's the expensive way. We're sure it's the expensive way, but
Did you dive right into the deep end or did you build your fishing and your tools and your job over the years?
it's like everybody. You begin with a small boat. I begin with a small 32-foot Atlas in Africa, in Ivory Coast and Senegal, and after I buy a Merritt 46, we fish for 3-4 seasons in all Central America, Panama, Costa Rica, Virgin Islands, all Caribbean Sea.
Right.
And the dream was that. We make 4 years to build this boat, but now
And only marlin? Always blue marlin?
No.
You fish other species?
all the species we have for all kind of fishing. We have for fly fishing, for blue marlin, for light pickerel, for everything. So you have more than 150 or 60 words and whale on board.
So I go back to rainy England and you go to Brazil at the end of the season.
Yeah. After that, we go to Brazil for 4, 5, 6 months, and we don't know exactly next year. We have 2, 3 different options, or to come back here, or to go to Pacific, Tahiti, Australia, and Fiji, everything.
Anyway, and your top fish this week so far?
Yeah.
What size?
We got 850, 900 pound fish. This morning we lost a very big one.
Yeah.
Very big one. I think it was much more than 1,000. Yeah.
1,000 pounds of marlin. In deep sea fishing, size is everything. Day 4, and $6,000 later. It was now my chance at the marlin. Even though Buck hadn't seen his fish, his turn was over. How I love democracy. Firstly though, we had to adjust the fighting chair. What suited a tall, long-legged Zimbabwean would not work for a short, forky Englishman.
Yeah. I like whatever you've done at that end.
The waiting was really scary. I really wanted it to happen. I'd seen my mate Buck come so close, and I just had to get it right. Just 2 miles outside Funchal Marina, a lure was hit by the biggest fish I'd ever seen in my life. She took the bait and steamed off, little caring that I was holding on to the other end of the line. This was one of the most exciting moments of my angling career. The marlin was particularly acrobatic, and I had to learn quickly to listen to Nigel the wireman and concentrate on the physics or risk losing everything. Anticipating the direction of a fish's flight applies to all angling, but at this scale it's a different ballgame. 1 minute the marlin is careering towards you at 30 miles an hour and you crank quickly to keep up.
Did you get that jump? Yeah. She's starting to weigh now.
Then she turns and brings her shoulders into the game, and at that moment the angler must bring his weight and cunning to bear and test his strength against the fish.
There it is. Punch it down. Punch down.
Push.
Come back up. Punch down. And again. Punch down. Punch it down. Keep going. Good work. Good work. Lock her up. Yeah, lock those knees. Good work. Good work.
Yeah. How much line out there with that marker, Nige? 200 yards.
Go on this side here. Just keep that. Keep it working on that side. Back towards this area there.
It's only 20 minutes. Where's the swim yet? Just cocking up. Want to drink? Just give me a shout. I'd like a shout.
That's it. Now
Hand on.
Straight your legs. That's it. Run through it. Pushing up. We're going to go to max. Maxing out. Hard work now. Right, now you're going to do the old lifting out. You're probably going to be standing up.
Okay.
That's it. Now look.
Shoulder, not my arm. Pull in here.
I might have a sticky out stomach and a spare chin or two, but I was grateful for some powerful legs and the early years of bike riding. "25 minutes into the fight, and I'm starting to feel the strain. My cranking arm is seizing up. For $1,500 a day, you can get the best advice in the world. But when all is said and done, it gets very lonely in the chair.
Hardest fish I've ever fought. Without a doubt. Extraordinary feeling. Actually lifting my whole weight right off the floor.
Because it's cut over. You've cut over.
Do we let that run off or do we just crank over it?
Crank over. That's the reason for bringing across even. It goes too fast.
Here comes the lure and the leader. Almost scarier than leaping into the chair. Did we have a firm hook hold? Would I see my fish?
Get that knot in there. Get that
Now push.
Now left to the shoreline.
What a beauty. Prime condition Atlantic blue marlin, estimated at around 650 pounds. After a 40-minute battle, this fish is as tired as me and needs to be fully revived before release. One quick pat and a few photos. What a fantastic opportunity to see such a wonderful species up close and personal. I'm sure I saw her wink at me when she swam away. Hope she got my good side.